You know what? I used to be a cool baby mama. I used to be a cool baby mom, but I'm not anymore. I'm not.
The Blueface saga's rules were permanently altered the moment Jaidyn Alexis uttered those exact words on tape. She didn't have a petty online tantrum or drop ambiguous subliminals. Jaidyn issued a chilly, formal demand. Armed security will be told to physically put Blueface or Nevaeh down on the pavement, and local police officers will take them into custody if they show up at her events or private parties or attempt to surprise her for
You don't pay no party fee? Oh, baby, you can't come. There is armed security at this. Blah, blah. Yeah, show up at this party, see what happened. They're instructed to lay your ass.
online clout. Petty baby mama drama is not the issue here. By revealing what purportedly took place inside prison walls, Jaidyn severely destroyed Blueface's street reputation. Jaidyn exposed Blueface's purported cooperation with jail officials on that particular broadcast, criticizing his hypocritical snitch persona. Her direct allegations state that Blueface told the guards he received a lead from the top tier, converting a 6-month
I'm worried about nobody that get on this internet talking about snitch this and snitch that. You snitch on paperwork. You turned 6 months into 2 years, but you're a snitch. You're a snitch. You literally told the jail you got the lead from the top tier, and then they beat you in your face on my mother.
Sentence into a 2-year sentence. Jaidyn made it obvious by dragging Nevaeh directly into this legal firewall. It's officially over to use her name and show up for live stream views without permission. However, why did Jaidyn hold off on making these prison accusations until now? And when Nevaeh entered the picture, what actually transpired? The key lies in the actual facts that underlie this prison documentation. It's not a sudden social media phase for Jaidyn Alexis to abandon her long-standing status as the passive partner. The Blueface content model has been completely shut down. For years, it was assumed by the public that Jaidyn would put up with the frequent stream crossovers, pop-ups, and online rudeness. The unwritten agreement.
I'm sitting here watching clips back. He's like, your shit was not anything good. They're still together. Your dick was.
Blueface relied on to transform his private life into a lucrative media circus was broken by that one statement. When Jaidyn outlined the violent repercussions for anyone challenging her new position, the truth of this change struck deep. She did not send a private text message or issue a courteous warning. She made the public aware of a zero-tolerance approach. Jaidyn established a rigorous security barrier for her private events to ensure that any unwanted admission prompts an instant law enforcement response, rather than allowing unexpected stream pop-ups to fly. This isn't your typical online trash talk, where Instagram Live producers quarrel for several hours before posting a link to a product. Jaidyn has successfully incorporated actual law enforcement into Blueface's revenue-generating plan. Pulling unwanted pop-ups and documenting the ensuing mayhem was, up until today, a surefire algorithm hit. Jaidyn made the cost of material excessively expensive by placing police reports and armed protection on standby. Viral clip channels no longer make money on a single surprise appearance at her event. Handcuffs, property trespassing charges, and physical restraint by private security are the outcomes. Physical barriers were not the end of the escalation. The stark contrast between Blueface's public arrogance and his real legal history was immediately revealed. Blueface has portrayed himself as an unwavering character who holds everyone else to high street standards ever since his probation violation in Los Angeles County. However, Jaidyn's assertions directly contradict that image, claiming that Blueface gave into pressure to preserve his own status when confronted with internal disciplinary proceedings while incarcerated. Jaidyn addressed the fundamental tenets of Blueface's corporate identity by highlighting how internal jail reports directly impacted his incarceration timeline. Breaking the silence on facility occurrences is a point of no return in hip-hop culture, where official records and personal actions are used to determine a rapper's standing. Jaidyn avoided using ambiguous generalizations. She gave a detailed explanation of how internal information management interfered with his anticipated release date. Jaidyn discussed the physical effects of those facility mishaps to highlight how serious the consequence was. According to her, decisions made behind closed doors had instant repercussions for the prison population. She also questioned the story around Blueface's post-custody rebrand, contending that his new ink was a purposeful cosmetic cover-up intended to hide physical markings from internal conflicts and structural facial scarring rather than a fashionable aesthetic decision. Jaidyn is ensuring that there is no collateral harm or backdoor entry for Blueface by dragging Nevaeh through this precise legal firewall. Jaidyn stopped treating Nevaeh as an impartial spectator and began addressing them as a group when she sided with Blueface on public live feeds. It was an obvious warning. Just because Nevaeh is the new face on stream doesn't mean she gets a pass. Nevaeh will encounter the same armed security and prompt police response if she goes with Blueface to any of Jaidyn's private gatherings. Blueface's preferred tool, controlling the narrative by frightening the public, has been taken away by Jaidyn. She completely changed the balance of power by simultaneously outlining the security orders, the police warning, and the accusations in the prison paperwork. Now, Blueface and Nevaeh must decide whether to honor the strict legal boundaries. Jaidyn established or ran the risk of a real-life legal catastrophe in order to record a 2-minute video. Blueface's most valuable asset, his online street credibility, was totally destroyed by the uproar over Jaidyn's live stream, which resulted in more than simply a police warning. For many years, Blueface used the term snitch as a weapon to disparage anyone who disagreed with him. He did this by criticizing other artists, rappers, and online celebrities. However, she immediately used Jaidyn's signature insult against him when he blasted his formal legal background. Instead of utilizing simple insults, Jaidyn used his public commentary's hypocrisy to undermine his online authority. Blueface frequently used his Kick and Twitch streams to criticize the devotion and behavior of those in his immediate vicinity, but Jaidyn's testimony made his own past behavior widely known. She emphasized how quickly his online self-assurance vanished under actual institutional pressure. This revelation has wider implications because of how harsh probation and jail conditions affect an artist's professional path. Extended lockups destroy promotional schedules, boxing exhibitions, and streaming contracts, although a brief custodial period can typically be handled by media quietude. According to Jaidyn, Blueface's extended absence from the business was self-inflicted and directly related to his behavior while incarcerated in California facilities. This particular assertion reveals a significant discrepancy between what Jaidyn says actually happened inside that prison and what Blueface presents on Twitch. Paperwork is more than just internet rumors in the hip-hop commenting ecosystem. It is the most important measure of genuineness. Jaidyn removed Blueface's tough guy facade, which he employs to intimidate others on social media, by pointing out how he reportedly converted a regular stay into an extended bid due to his own paperwork actions. The discussion then turned to how Blueface's continued media output with Nevaeh is affected by these allegations. Jaidyn's abrupt counterattack revealed the weakness of his present setup after Blueface made fun of his living conditions and personal decisions in multiple streams. Instead of disparaging her personal life for stream fodder, she made Blueface defend his street credentials by disclosing what allegedly happened behind prison. As a result, Nevaeh becomes an active target of Jaidyn's legal firewall rather than merely a third party. Nevaeh had been participating in Blueface's online shenanigans and co-signing his commentary on public live streams prior to this one. However, she wouldn't allow Nevaeh to play the innocent spectator when Jaidyn confronted the matter. Jaidyn specifically included Nevaeh and Blueface under the same caution. They will not be allowed to play any games on their own streams close to her home, her children, or her events. Jaidyn made it very plain that she no longer wants to engage in back and forth on social media or compete for online points. Her public posture changed from one of emotional annoyance to one of cold, calculated boundary enforcement. She publicly questioned why Blueface and Nevaeh, who are purportedly focused on their own paths, were bringing her name up in public venues. Jaidyn had total control of the narrative space by adhering to firm police threats and specific jail allegations rather than emotional outbursts. Blueface and Nevaeh were totally exposed as a result of the strategic change. They will demonstrate that they depend on Jaidyn's name for views if they keep discussing her on the stream. They risk quick arrest, armed security intervention, and actual criminal charges if they try to pull up on her in person to make viral material. Jaidyn successfully put them in a situation where every action they do has serious repercussions in the real world. The Jaidyn Alexis, Blueface and Nevaeh interaction culminates in the transition from online comments to actual legal peril. The days of viewing baby mama disagreements as innocuous, algorithm-boosting reality content have officially collapsed into a wall of physical security and police enforcement. Jaidyn did more than just alert Blueface and Nevaeh when she specifically placed armed protection and police personnel on standby. The low-risk, high-reward strategy Blueface employed for years to create viral online headlines was irreversibly damaged by her. Crizian broke the unofficial arrangement that let Blueface visit without warning, openly confirming on live that she had officially renounced her cool, baby mama attitude. Crizian made it plain that anyone who tries to enter her private area without permission, especially Blueface and Nevaeh, will be physically restrained and dropped by private armed security during her concerts. Crizian publicly accused Blueface of snitching, claiming that his collaboration with jail officials about occurrences occurring within the institution directly prolonged his term and resulted in physical retaliation while there. Relying on Crizian's prior silence to maintain the dynamic, Blueface consistently pushed Nevaeh onto public live feeds, utilizing their shared platform to subtly criticize Crizian's way of life, residence, and personal preferences. Crizian waited for the ideal opportunity to deliver a dual strike on stream rather than reacting with angry outbursts or oblique remarks. Alongside enormous prison paperwork claims, there is a physical firewall for law enforcement. Crizian effectively forced Blueface and Nevaeh to either stop talking about her or demonstrate that they depend on her name for view counts by openly querying why they are unable to keep her name out of their broadcasts. This legal firewall is a significant turning point for the online commenting arena from an industry standpoint. The tangible involvement of on-site security and law enforcement reports elevates the scenario much beyond simple online clout chasing, even though skeptics may examine the timing of the feed. In the meantime, Nevaeh is currently dealing with a difficult situation. She runs the risk of being mentioned in police complaints and trespass notices if Blueface chooses to physically cross Crizian's borders because she co-hosts streams and participates in discussions with Blueface. Digital streaming services have stringent rules about physical stalking, trespassing, and harassment in real life. Crizian guarantees that any unapproved pull-up stunt will result in instant demonetization, content strikes, and platform account bans for both Blueface and Nevaeh by recording police action. Unverified allegations of prison behavior also do long-term harm to one's reputation in hip-hop media. Crizian executed a calculated hit that seriously undermines internet confidence by portraying Blueface post-jail tattoos as physical cover-ups rather than simple fashion decisions. Jaidyn Alexis fully removed Blueface and Nevaeh's control panel. She turned the whole story from a chaotic soap opera into a rigid legal border by supporting her claims with actual security procedures. Blueface and Nevaeh now face instant, career-altering consequences for every action they take. The facts ultimately speak for themselves. Jaidyn Alexis is no longer a prop in Blueface's virtual carnival. She did more than simply establish a boundary by combining actual armed security and law enforcement with specific prison documentation claims. She surrounded her life with a complete legal barrier. Blueface and Nevaeh are now stuck in a situation where exploiting Crizian's name for stream clout or showing up without warning may have instant financial, legal, and physical repercussions. The main query that permeates the whole field of hip-hop analysis is straightforward. Will Blueface truly move on and obey this strict boundary? Or will he test Crizian's police policies in person because of his internet pride? How long can his tough guy online persona last under the weight of his real legal record if those accusations about prison paperwork continue to gain traction? Make sure to hit the subscribe button and enable notifications so you never miss a breakdown if you want the most genuine, factual, and fact-checked tea and hip-hop analysis available online sans the bogus rumors. Because when a legal line is drawn this tightly in public, as history has shown with Blueface, the next move typically changes everything.
Keep an eye out